Welcome to this month's Minute with Victor, where Dr. Cotton answers your questions.
This month's question comes from a physician who writes, "We use an EMR that generates procedure notes based on our selections from a template. It's very efficient, but produces nearly identical notes that describe the procedure with the same language every time. I'm concerned that this undermines the legitimacy of the note. Would it be better if we could vary the documentation from patient to patient?" The most important consideration here is that you're able to produce an accurate note, because accuracy is the cornerstone of effective documentation. So the first thing is to make sure that the templates that you're using and the descriptions that are being generated are consistent with the procedures that you're doing. Now, if that's the case, then I wouldn't worry about the notes being identical. The reality is that most cholecystectomies are done in a very similar manner. Most cataract surgeries have a lot in common, and most carpal tunnel releases involve the exact same steps. And that's because most procedures are done with what we call standard technique. And when you use standard technique, your notes are going to be very similar. And that's true whether you dictate them, write them out, or generate them with an EMR. So the fact that these notes are virtually identical doesn't concern me. In fact, I see it as an indication that you used standard technique and delivered the standard of care, which is exactly what you're supposed to do. If you think about this, the only way to generate any significant variation in your notes is to vary the procedure from patient to patient. And that means that you'd have to do something unconventional and introduce risk just so you could generate a different note. And that's not medically or legally appropriate. If you have a technique that gives your patients the best opportunity for a good result, then that's the technique that you use. And if you do the procedure 500 times, you're going to have 500 notes that are virtually identical. And those notes are going to reflect the fact that 500 patients received the best possible care. Thanks again for listening. We've added a new feature to our website that I think you'll enjoy. It's an audio series where I discuss scientific papers that are foundational to our understanding of medical malpractice. I undertook this project because most of the risk management ideas, the things that we're told will reduce our risk of being sued, are in fact inconsistent with the literature. I sort those ideas out by putting each of them to the test in this new series called The Crucible. It's available here on our website at no cost, and I hope you find it helpful.